And I said, Ellen, this is a hospital. It's too risque for that. And she said, well, why don't you get a leaf from the plant and cover up that part? And I did that, and things were fine for the first day, fine for the second day, but the third day the leaves start shriveling up. She had a rare liver disease, and she passed away. But I realized too that I couldn't go through life in tears, and it like stops my life. And that after Ellen died, how was I going to show my daughter that we need to get on with life?
Today, I am so thrilled to welcome Allen Klein, the Jollytologist, the one and only Jollytologist. Allen is an author, a speaker, and a joyful human who has turned life's toughest moments into a philosophy of humor and resilience. He's 88 years old, and his story is now the subject of a beautiful new documentary by filmmaker Sky Bergman. It's called The Jollytologist. And I have to say, it's just what the world needs now. Alan, I'm so thrilled you're here. Thank you for being with me today.
It's great to be here. I think it's George Burns said, at his age, it was great to be anywhere. I kind of feel that way some days, yeah.
So you came up with this term, Jollytologist. Do you want to give us a little bit of the backstory of what brought you to doing the kind of work that you're doing in finding humor in the face of hard times?
Well, it started many years ago when I got married to my wife, Ellen, and we'd make each other laugh, and it was a great relationship. And a lot of our friends were splitting up at that time. We had been married about 10 years, and we'd say, "Why are we still married?" And she said, "Because Alan, you make me laugh." And I always said, Ellen, it's always an adventure with you. I never knew when I came home from work if we'd have a great little quiet dinner with candlelight and flowers, or there'd be a house full of 50 people she decided to invite and make a big pot of minestrone soup or, something like that. So
Yes.
life was always an adventure. I was pretty quiet and she kind of drew me out and we used to laugh a lot together. Then she had a rare liver disease and she passed away and it was terrible. I gave up a business. I had a 10-year-old daughter at the
Mhm.
time, so it was a very difficult time. But I kept remembering that even in the hospital we would laugh. There were lots of tears, but we also laughed a lot. I remember Yvonne, we had a copy of Playgirl magazine with the male nude centerfold. And she said, Alan, I really like this hunky man this month. Can you put it on the wall by the bed over there? And I said, Ellen, this is a hospital. It's too risque for that. And she said, well, why don't you get a leaf from the plant and cover up that part? And I did that, and things were fine for the first day, fine for the second day, but the third day the leaves start shriveling up, revealing what we were trying to hide, and we would just start laughing. And so after she died, I realized it wasn't a lot of laughter, maybe 20 seconds, right? But it was continuous because every time we'd look at a leaf or a plant or a shriveled leaf, we would start to laugh. And so I realized how it helped us get through that difficult time,
Yeah.
how it gave us a reprieve, how it helped us rise above the situation. That's what laughter often does, helps you get that perspective in any situation. And so I had a business in San Francisco. I gave that up. I went back to school to learn about death and dying. I became a hospice volunteer. I became a home health aide. And I would often
Wow.
see people who were seriously ill, terminally ill, and yet there'd still be laughter. And sometimes it was sarcastic, cynical humor, but it was maybe the only thing they had left was being able to get that perspective with the humor. And so went back to school, got a master's degree in human, HUMAN development, And my thesis was The Healing Power of Humor, which turned into my first book.
I feel like I should have asked you this in the beginning, but can you tell us how you came up with the term Jollytologist?
So I got a master's degree in humor, therapeutic humor.
Mm-hmm.
And the term for laughter in Greek is gelos, Gelos. And so I started to call myself a Jellotologist, but that was like the dessert. So I changed it to Jollytologist, and people knew what that was. So some people say, well, why didn't you say Jollyologist? Right? I mean, that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know. I just came up with Jollytologist, but now I say, well, now I can't think of it. I'm like, oh yeah, a proctologist.
Oh!
Jollytologist, proctologist.
I love that. That's hilarious. This feels like a gift right now, and a reminder that humor and play and joy can live right alongside grief and uncertainty and real life. And if this conversation resonated, or if you know somebody you think needs a little buoying today, please share this episode with them. Jump in the comments and let us know what you think of this conversation. What is one small thing that brings you joy, even on hard days? Share it with us so maybe somebody else can try that too. Thanks so much for being here. I'll see you next week. And in the meantime, bloom like you mean it.